Hey, scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and I'm here with our first layout, Theme Park Thursday layout of 2024. This is layout number 12, which is the Tiki Room, the Enchanted Tiki Room, or as we have to say it in our house, the Tiki Room, where the birds sing words and the flowers croon. So this video is a little bit of a journey. I ended up filming it over 2 days because, once again, what I thought I was happy with at the end, I wasn't actually happy with at the end. So I came back after I slept on it and I changed it quite a bit, but I think it made it a lot better. So settle in. It's a little bit of a long one because it was, I always do a little bit longer videos, and then I came back and added like a whole bunch more at the end. So I hope that you will enjoy this one. I show a couple of different techniques and I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you'll have and I hope you will have a fun time watching it. Here we go. Okay, so this layout, I have a lot of pictures. I never know when I take pictures inside an attraction. Of course, I don't use my flash, so I never know how they're going to turn out. So we've got to kind of figure out how many of these I want to use and how I want to arrange them. I took a picture of the sign, so I kind of want that as my title. Took a picture of the building. And then these are inside the building. And then I've got some things of the birds. This might be almost the same picture. And this one's a little blurry. Oh, same with right here. See that? That one's a little bit blurry. I obviously didn't see that on when I was printing this on my phone, or from my phone. Got some flowers, lots of the birds, flowers. Oh, we already saw those flowers, didn't we? But these are the fun ones. It's me and my girls. These are out front. So what I'm kind of thinking I want to do is something like on this side. I brought, I have the Cardinals punch. I was thinking it could be fun to use the Cardinals punch. I also have the Songbirds punch. And neither one of these really looks like parrots. But I think it would be fun to do something with these. I was kind of thinking about trying to punch around a circle, but I don't know how that, this one is on a straight line. I don't know how that one's going to go. This one has a little bit more of a curvy line, so we might be able to make it work. But I was thinking we could do something like a circle right here, and then some small little squares of pictures over here. And so kind of make this my focal point and kind of go across. And I thought I would use Tropic Time because, this Enchanted Tiki Room, if you look at some of these pictures, it's all kind of Polynesian themed. And I love the Tropic Time, and I've got tons of it. For some reason, I bought way more than I'm going to need for many projects. So let's see what papers we want to use. Tropic Time had a designer. I think it still is available, actually. A designer and a tone-on-tone. I like this blue one with the flowers. I just flipped through. So that color kind of works with that. Maybe as a background. Do I have two of them? Oh, I got two of them. So that could be good as a background page. Maybe I like this blue to punch the circle, but it's got a line in it. So I don't really like that. Of course, I love the one that's got all the tropical stuff in it. There's a few of them. There's a few floral patterns. Let's see. This is the other one that's kind of a darker. Maybe it's this one that I want. That contrast between that two seems to be too much. But then now I'm looking at that, I don't know that I want that with the flowers. So let's see, we got that stripe. I wonder if we got the stripe in another color. I can't remember. I haven't used this paper pack in a while. This must be the tone-on-tone. Looks like that's the tonal that we got. I just ran across this. Oh, that's the designer. I don't have the one for the other. Yeah. The stripe is that light turquoise or the dark. I think I'll do this. Do these two. And then maybe we'll do orange for the birds. I could use this, but I'm not. I'm going to use cardstock. I'm going to use the orange cardstock. Okay, wow, that is really orange. I don't know how I feel about that. But yes, I'm still going to use it. But I think I want to I'm going to punch my circle out and see how it works. This is an experiment. So you guys have already seen what the layout's going to look like. I have not. So this is going to be a mystery to me too. But this way I can show you the technique of punching around a circle, even if we decide it doesn't work with this particular punch. We will try it out. So I'm going to go ahead and use my circle cutter. Many of you have seen my circle cutter video hack. I already have one of my little Post-it notes ready. You don't have to cut this out of the center, but this way I can make sure that I have that I have enough space and I don't go off the edge. So I'm going to position this right in the middle. Oh, I need my CM mat. Okay, well, I can't find my CM mat. I cleaned up my scrapbook room over the holidays and now I can't find anything. So I'm just gonna have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this down, and I will link to the video of the circle cutter hack so you can do this yourself. I've had so many people tell me that this has changed their feelings about this circle cutter, and that makes me so happy because I really think it's a great tool once you figure out how to use it. So, oops, my Post-it note's getting a little not sticky. Probably time for a new one. Okay, now I've got to reposition that because I didn't stick it down. Oh, look, it's pretty straight. You see, I'm just lining up the lines with my ruler, and this is the side that's theoretically sticky. And I want to have a pretty good sized circle to fit all those things. I think I'm gonna do, and you know, so much is gonna depend on how these align, but I think I'm gonna do a 10.5 inch circle. We'll see how that goes. All right, so there's my circle, and here's where this is going to get interesting because I don't know how this is going to punch as around the circle. There are different ways you can do this. Some people measure and do all sorts of math. I just kind of eyeball it. I'll zoom down. You just kind of want to position the arched round part of your paper like toward the center. And actually, maybe I ought to mark it with a Sharpie. And I'll just measure. I think this is a 2 inch. Yeah, it's about 2.5 inches, so about 1.25 inches. Let's see, 2.5, 1.25 is right about here. So that's the middle. It doesn't have to be exact, you know, not rocket science or anything. It's just scrapbooking. So let's see how this is going to look with the cardinals. I think cardinals look more like toucans than these other songbirds do. So now what I'm going to do when I come back in here is I'm going to use this. You need to know your punch whenever you want to do a technique like this. Kind of look at your punch, pay attention. So this one, the place it connects is only the branch, is the only part that's connected. This has a little leaf right there, the little leaves here and there, but the branch is the only part that connects. So I just want to make sure that this little branch right here, I can't remember which way I went. It was this way. Okay. This little branch right here, I want to make sure that it lines up with the branch right there. And I want to make sure that that part is in the center. All right, so that's okay. I don't know that this one was designed, you know, I don't know that any of them are designed for that, but we Creative Memories people like to do things ourselves. Okay. Figure things out on our own. Okay, so here I am lining up the branch. I don't want to go too far because that will cut into that. So I'm just going to line up right about there. You see, I can see the branch. I'm touching right here on the roundest point, and just punching, you know, kind of upside down. Once you got it in there, if you need to turn it over to punch, you can. I just usually punch backwards. I'm not getting this little leaf. I'm under punching it, so I'm losing that little leaf. So I'm going to try this time to get the leaf. Oh no, I can't really get it with the leaf. So no leaf. And just keep going around. So Megan Jacks does a lot of this, and she's got all like the mathy formulas and stuff, and she has you measure your paper and everything so it comes out perfectly. And I just I'm not, that's not the way my brain works. So if you are someone that needs math to make this work, then you might want to look for one of Megan's videos. But if you're like me, you're just able to freewheel it. So what I'm doing on this one is I'm just ignoring that little branch, that little leaf. I'm just punching off. That's where I'm aligning it, is ignoring that little leaf. But yeah, if you need some math or you want a little bit more precision, Megan might be able to help you. So search out her videos here on YouTube. But then come back to me. Don't decide you like her best. Although I guess it's okay if you already like her best. I do like Megan a lot. All right, this one might actually work. I can kind of tell right here where I am. And, you know, it's just a crapshoot, basically, right here. But look at that. It worked out. I'm going to lose one of those leaves, but it worked out. And so this one I've got to position it both ways so that the branch lines up with both sides. So I'm going to lose that leaf on there too. But here we go. And look, it worked out perfectly with no math, just eyeballing it, ballparking it. Oh, we'll zoom out. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to just take all this off, swoop it into the trash. And there we've got our circle of birds. And so I'm going to take this as my background. And I really do, I think I like the songbird birds better, but that wasn't gonna work. So, and I'm not gonna do anything with this yet because I'd like to, I might just do stripes actually, because I don't know what size I'm gonna cut my little pictures to. If I cut them 3 inches, 3 by 3, 2 3/4 by 3, okay. Sorry, thinking out loud right there for you. I know I want to do squares. I think I'm going to fussy cut that. I think I'm going to cut this little guy out and put him up in the top corner, and then put the Tiki Room sign right there, and maybe put us. That's the picture I like the best of us, is this one right here. And cut that a little smaller, tuck it behind, because I do want to be able to see some of the, I can trim that down a little bit. I do want to see those birds that I just went to all that effort of cutting out. I do love all of these pictures where somebody always, you know, Katie, usually her father's daughter, makes funny faces. So that might need to be in a peekaboo pocket. If I put that in a peekaboo pocket right here, then I can show all of those pictures. So that's going to be up here in a peekaboo pocket, kind of like that. And then which of these pictures do I want? I pulled out my little measuring templates. This is another thing I could put in the in the description, but I think I'm gonna have to make another one because I think I want a 2 3/4 inch, maybe I just want 2 5/8 inch square, not 2 5/8, 2 7/8, because that will just leave a little tiny gap for this to show through. So let's put together one of those. Well, I mean, we could use the 3-inch square just to start to see what we're gonna do. But yeah, I have plenty of room. I could go smaller here. I could even do the 2 1/2 since it's already cut. But I might end up cutting a 2 3/4. That's a good one. That's a good one. That one, oh, is that, oh, I like this little guy with his little umbrella. That can go 3, I think I can fit 8. Same guy, he doesn't need to be in there. Oh, you know, it'd be fun to do some that are tiny, like a 1/4 of this size, like some little 1-inch squares. Maybe I'll set aside these little tiny ones. Some of these are probably double prints because for some reason I keep accidentally getting double prints. Kind of like the flowers, but maybe I'll do these flowers because then I can fit it just like that. Although I do like this flower. Maybe I'll cut this out and set that on top of my row of birds. I don't know if I have enough birds actually to do the 8 pictures. I might have to just use, I like the tikis. Those could go in one. I might have to do something different because yeah, this looks a lot. Oh, that's the one I was going to throw away. I must have pulled out the ones I was going to throw away. This guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I'm doing 2 1/2, I can do 8. This could be in 1, 5, 6, unless that's the, no, that was this one. Oh, I'll do this one. Oh, 6. Because I have him right here. That right there. I guess I'll just have to do the little tinies. 7. Same birds. Little drummer guys. Yeah, my pictures didn't turn out great because, you know, of course I was inside trying to get those pictures without a flash. All right, I'll choose one of these when we get to the end. And I think I'm just gonna, I know that they fit in 2 1/2, so I think I'm just gonna cut them all at 2 3/4. Of course, using my personal trimmer, which is my favorite way to cut things, cut photos. I love my 12-inch trimmer for paper. Okay, I want to cut a little bit more. I'm going to trim that. I love my 12-inch trimmer for paper, but for photos, I just feel like I get a lot more precision with the personal trimmer. Okay, so when I'm eyeballing, I like to kind of do the math, figure out where the middle point is going to be. It's kind of like I do with the circle cutter. Find out what the middle point is for 2 3/4. So half of 2 3/4 is going to be like 1 3/8, which is halfway between here. So this mark right here between 1 1/4 and 1 1/2 is kind of where I want to eyeball kind of what's the center of my picture going to be. And that way when I cut these, I know that the thing I want in the center will be in this center, if that makes sense. And I guess I could draw a little mark for you guys. I don't want to draw, actually don't want to draw a mark that's going to be permanent because it changes with every picture. But because I'm doing 2 3/4, it's 1 3/8, which is this line right there, actually. So I'll just mark a little line right here. All right, so that's just for my reference. I just did it with a pencil, and I can, oh gosh, my phone is doing that weird thing where it wants to focus on, it's always when I tried to zoom in. Oh, I'll zoom in. That will make it happy. All right, so here's my little mark to show me where my center needs to be. So this little guy, I want this to be the center. So on here, I'll just kind of find, there's his center, just kind of eyeballing it. And then I can go to my 2 3/4 right here and know that this is going to be centered. So he's the center, and I'm not centering on his head because he's kind of off center himself, but this way I just know that my pictures, you know, that everything is centered in the picture. We'll do this one too. I want both of these guys, so the center is going to be in between the two of them right here. I need to remember, I ought to mark right here at 2 3/4 so that I remember where I'm cutting. And I did it with a pencil, so I can just erase it. That's also going to help me because I think I want to cut this so that I don't have the little foot from this little bird. I'll cut that off, and then I'll measure this direction, 2 3/4. This guy, see, this is good because this is the center. I want to make sure that I don't come in here too far because then I'll be hurting later. So I'm just going to line up at this edge. That way I don't have to really trim off that other side. That'll be fine. Although this is too tall, his whole little bird thing. Let's trim a little of that bottom off, and then we can trim a little of this top off. I think I've zoomed in too far. I'll zoom out a smidge. All right, here's the tikis. I'll put them right in the center. And then I'm just going to cut like at the top because I can't get the whole thing in there, but I can get that much in. That's not bad. That's a decent amount of tikis. And then I have this guy from here. So I want to get these girl birds on this one right here, I think. But if I scoot it over, I can get these guys too. So I'm going to look at this and see kind of where the edge of these birds are rather than centering her. So hopefully this isn't too basic of technique of cutting out, you know, how to crop your photos, but just the way I do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I want one of these where they're all kind of tiny. Let's see which one the lighting is better for. Probably that one. Okay, we'll do this one. And this one's a little different because I've got the mouse ears of the person in front of me. So I think I'm going to try and cut those off. And that still actually made it pretty centered. All right, so I'm done with these. All right, so what that's going to let me do, because these are 2 3/4, I can center these on a 6-inch piece of paper, and I'll still have a little bit of space. Oh, except they are going to need to be matted. Rat. That's just too, or I'm going to have to put it on a solid. I think I'm going to have to put it on a solid piece. Maybe I'll find like a leafy green for this one. So magically, or not magically, maybe, our new avocado cardstock matches this green almost perfectly. So these were 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut some mats at 2 7/8. And that's one of those numbers that, you know, we don't really love having the 7/8 numbers. Let's see, is that going to be enough? No, we'll go down one more. All right. So each one of these little hash marks on the trimmer, the CM trimmer, is a 1/16 of an inch. So the little short ones are 1/16 of an inch. So if you ever need to cut something that is, 3/16 or something, that's what the little short ones are, 1/16. The medium short one right here is an 1/8. Nope, sorry. Yeah, that's an 1/8. And then these are the quarters. They're a little bit longer, 1/8 quarter inch. So what I want to do here is cut these. What did I say? I cut my pictures were cut at 2 3/4, which is this right here. It's this line, but I want it to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to the 2 7/8, which is the next line right there between the 2 and the 2 3/4, or the 1 3. No, haha, that was close. I want to go to 2 3/4 and then 2 7/8 right here. So I'll cut 2 7/8, and then I'm going to cut 4 little mats, 2 7/8 right here. And of course, if you wanted to, you could easily, make another little pencil mark on your trimmer when you're cutting one of these weird measurements so you don't mess up. It happens all the time when I'm cutting something odd. You saw I almost did it when I was cutting my paper originally, and it's easy to do when it's not one of the measurements that lines up with the grid line. So 2 7/8. So this shows me how much extra space I'm going to have on my paper. And so I just want to see if I can do this at 6 inches. If I can make these fit at in 6 inches with a mat. And it barely is going to, I would just love to be able to just use one paper. And it's barely going to fit. I want to be able to see some of this. I can't decide if I want to have the strip go all the way behind the big orange circle. I think maybe I'll just have it kind of come on over on this side. So to allow myself a little bit more space between these, I think I'm going to cut this at 6. At 6.5 inches. Which way is up and down? I think this way is up and down. So I'm going to cut this at 6.5 inches. And then this piece, even though it's not going to be up and down, I'm going to cut this also at 6.5 inches. This would not work if my paper was really specifically directional, but now I can use this little piece on the other side of the paper, and it's going to be fine. Okay, did that make sense? Okay, I took a minute to tidy up my workspace a little bit. Not sure if I did it for you or for me, but it's definitely better to have a slightly tidier workspace. And then I'm going to map my photos. I guess I could have done that off camera too. You guys can see how I correct when I go off the edge. I just fold it with my thumbnail. And we'll just center our little mat. So this gives us a very small mat, which I think is plenty. It's going to be enough to offset it from here, I think, just to pop it off. So okay, so maybe I'll fast forward through this part too. And when I say fast forward, I mean maybe I'll snip that part out. I've learned how my millennial, Gen Z, whatever they are, daughters have taught me how to do a little bit of basic video editing. So I'll just snip this part out. Okay, so I finished matting all my photos. This one was funny because it has this little white spot on it, and I thought it was like a piece from a piece from like a piece of paper or a scrap or something. It's the light on here. So that actually, it wouldn't wipe off, obviously. All right. So now I want to center these, kind of position them on here, just so they're centered. I mean, they're not going to be exactly centered. I just want to make sure that I can see some of the floral pattern through the background. I'm going to use my zero centering ruler to kind of help me make sure I'm where I want to be. So here's the 0, and I'm just going to put these on either side of the 0 line and then the 3 line. And that's just going to make sure that I'm where I need to be. So we'll stick these down. I'm leaving a little bit more of a border at the top and the bottom. I'm not leaving as much a wide a border between the 2 rows of photos. But I can see I've got the 1 to 3 inch space right here, and so I want to kind of center it in there. Also use the edge of my paper to kind of line it up, make sure it's straight. This is still going to be pretty busy. The pictures do kind of get a little bit lost on this floral paper. I wouldn't have wanted to use this whole paper as a background. Okay, I think I'm going to scoot this guy. Oh, you know what? I lined him up with the line, and I want to center him between the 2. Somehow this is not working the way I had hoped it would. All right, there we go. Okay. And so then I'll just use these pictures here to position the other 4. Now that one of these is not straight, so once I get these all down, I'll have to straighten them up. I guess this one will be easier because I can align it with the bottom and the side, make sure it's straight, and then I can use that to, yeah, I messed up because these 2 just are touching. So we'll make sure that these 2 line up, and then this one. Now that one's looking crooked, and it looks crooked down there too. Maybe I should have used my ruler, or maybe I should learn to not care if it's not perfectly straight. What do you think? Okay. There we go with all of our pictures right here. So now let's go ahead and assemble. I definitely don't want that. I don't know how I feel about this. It's feeling really blue. I wonder if I need a little bit more of the orange on this side. Maybe I do. I have this whole extra piece. I think I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch strip off of each of 2 sides. I got to be careful because now that I've cut 1/8 of an inch, this line is not going to be the full width. So I'm going to flip it over and use the exact opposite side. Probably could have done a little bit more. I could use 3/16 of an inch. Now we just talked about that, but I think that's going to be okay. And then I'm going to do it on these 2 short sides because I'm going to need pieces for the little piece we're going to put in. Maybe. So I'm going to put these on the other side so I don't get them mixed up. But if you remember when I did the Mickey's Cavalcade a few weeks ago, remember I didn't like it, and I talked about how I didn't like the layout, and then I slept on it and I came back and I liked it better, and that was why, because I added a little contrasting stripe. So here we go. Am I fitting on here? All right, it's a little bit better. So I'm going to put this here, and then we'll put the orange stripes on the top and the bottom. And then we'll put this here. I'm going to cut this picture down. Oh, maybe I'll do an orange matte on my my picture. I forgot I was going to do a peekaboo pocket. I just want this little Tiki guy up here. And I'm going to fussy cut this out. I don't mind fussy cutting. The sign itself has a little bit of a scalloped edge, and I'm just ignoring that. I'm just going along this other edge right here. Let's see. No, doesn't want to focus. Anyway, you'll have to trust me that there's a little bit of a scallop edge. I guess you can see it right there. But I'm just going along the solid edge. Just because, you know, there's fussy cutting and then there's fussy cutting. And I'm not that fussy. Just want the little oval. I wish I'd gotten my picture better so that it wasn't crooked on that side, but I can do him right here. And then this can be right there. And you know, I think maybe this needs to be on an orange background too. This can be over here. What's the other? Oh, this was this other little piece, and I could cut that small and put it down there because I don't need these guys' heads. Sorry, random strangers. I'm cutting their heads off. Off with their heads. It's an appropriate Disney quote, isn't it? I think I'll cut that light off too. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to cut a little bit more of that top part off. And maybe some of the sides. All right. So this will be kind of down here. And that's going to need to be on here. I think I'm going to go all the way around this with this little border in here, and then this will be separate. Might even want to chop those people off too. Sorry, and that. I want to crop this guy down too. I remember when I first started scrapbooking, like the idea of cutting photos was horrifying. Who would do that? Who would cut their photos? But I love now that I can just have the photo that I want. Okay, that I'm going to butt up against there since I have that crooked edge. And I think I'm going to put the birds over top of this. I feel like it needs some, oh, I'm going to do some leaves, I think. Some leaves kind of down here at the top and bottom. Okay. So, maybe I'll scoot this down just a smidge. So that's going to make this piece about 2.5 inches from the bottom. And if you wanted to be like super frugal with your paper, you could weld this and, you know, cut the pieces out, but even I don't kind of do that much welding. 2.5 inches. You know, I think we do 2 inches from the bottom. I think I like 2 inches from the bottom. And because we're covering so much of this, you're never going to know that the paper is slightly directional. But if you were doing this with stripes or something, you might need to cut a second piece of paper so that you could get your stripes going the right direction. because I can see that these leaves are kind of going, you know, these little groups of leaves are going sideways now, but shh, we won't tell anybody. All right. So let's put the orange stripes down. Oh, no, I mixed up my orange stripes. Okay, these are both of these. And I think I've shown you this technique before. Learned this from Sachi, who is one of the CM blog designers. And that's that when you're wanting to do skinny strips, and use the repositionable, and you butt them up against each other, and that way you don't waste as much tape, because you can fit 2 of these little 1/8 inch strips under one swoop of tape runner. You know, I mean, you can obviously just go down and do one, which I'm going to have to do on one part up here, but this way I just had to do one swoop of tape instead of using double the adhesive, and not as much excess to have to rub off later. So I'm just butting this up against the, trying to line it up at the end, butting it up against the edge of the paper. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking that with the orange. Poked up the edge a little bit. So did that. I had a little crumply edge on my paper. And then this one, I don't need the whole thing. I just need part of it. I think that was a mistake. I think I'm going to do this one. I'm going to let it go a smidge over on this side. I'm going to do this piece first, because that'll fit here, but it won't fit that way. So then I'll take this piece, put a little more adhesive on it, and go up the side. It's a little fiddly. All right, there we go. Oh, see, that was good. I'm glad that I thought to use the same, or not, you know, I would have had to cut one more. I'm glad I thought to use use the same paper for a short side and a long side instead of 2 short sides. Right, that one's a little too long. Take a little snip with our micro tips. Okay. There we go. Let's see if I can find a peekaboo pocket. Okay, so I apparently don't have any peekaboo pockets right handy. I thought I had some in my little box, but I only have the 4x4s and the 3x4s. So I want a 4x6 peekaboo pocket. I'm going to put it right here. But I think I'm going to trim this down. I'm kind of tempted to mount it, because if it's a 4x6 peekaboo pocket, this is not a 4x6 photo. This is a 4x whatever it is, 5.3. So maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just use the good picture of us and not worry about a peekaboo pocket. Right there. Almost wonder if I need to matte it in orange, but it's so close to being already to that orange. I don't think I want to. I think I'm just going to stick this down and trust that it'll be able to be seen. It kind of blends into the background, but we don't. You know, we stand out right there. So that means these birds are going to have to go behind here. Oh, maybe they'll go behind us. Okay, so let me pull out my silicone mat. And I do have the bigger one. And we've had a couple of promos where we've been able to get these, but this little smaller one is handy. I should have stuck this down before I put our picture on. But the repositionable is so great for stuff like this. I remember painstakingly having to like take one little speck of tape, you know, on here and put it in like one, I can't even get it. One little spot, you know, like this. Did you guys remember having to ever do that? Where you just had to, you know, get it in there. Oh, my phone. What happens is if I touch the screen when I'm recording it, it then decides it wants to focus on that spot. So if I'm trying to zoom in and I didn't, and I miss the button, which I do, then it messes up everything. Okay, so I'm going to peel that picture off, and we're going to do this right about like that. I'll stick this circle bird down. Although that one's a little, I think that one's a little messed up. I might not have been pinching hard enough. I'm going to hide that one behind the picture. Don't tell anyone. There's the bad one behind the picture. And it's not exactly centered. I mean, I kind of, it's a little bit lower down, but this is also, I moved this all lower down. So now I can take my little torch guy. I'm going to tuck him under here. And then Enchanted Tiki Room, we'll butt up against that. And then this can go here, and that can go there. I might even trim that off so it fits on here. That'll be great. That worked out really well, actually. I'm quite happy with how that turned out. We're going to cut off about 1/4 of an inch. Perfect. The Tiki Room gets a lot of hate. It's an interesting. I have friends who very vehemently hate the Tiki Room, which I think is interesting because it's, you know, it seems like a strong emotion for a theme park attraction. Okay, so we're not done. Something else needs to happen here. I'm not sure what. I talked about cutting that one flower and setting that up on top right there. I don't know about that. It's so big in comparison to the other flowers. I do that one. Oh, I could just have that hanging from the top. Okay, let's do that. Let's see how that looks. We will fussy cut this. I can't tell if this little thing is on the flowers or if it's behind the flowers. I kind of don't like it. I think I'm going to cut it off. So sorry, little snake looking thing, whatever you are. All right, I'm not going to take the time to trim off all of that stuff, but I'll hang that up there. I don't know about that. I might not do that. All right, let's pull out our paper pack or our collection again. I don't need the paper. I pulled the whole thing of paper out. I don't usually pull all the paper out, but I have the embellishments and the stickers. And I do have some leaves of the Monstera leaves already punched out. And I, of course, have the stickers. I think those little flowers are not going to be in there. I did this, might have been for a Savvy Scrapbookers, because they're folded and I don't know what I did. They're longer. I must have done on the diagonal. So I could do something like this. The top and bottom. Is that too much at the top and the bottom? Maybe just the bottom. Oh, just the bottom and then right along here. Into there. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. Guess I'll pull back out my little mat. So sorry you're not getting to see me punch this out, but maybe you're not sorry. But I just happen to have this already in my bag. So, you know, when if you change your design, save those pieces because you can always use them. And I'm going to tuck these behind the little birds. I don't want the leaves covering up the birds. And because I had done this on the angle, I'm pretty sure this was from the Savvy Scrapbookers video. They're longer than 12 inches. That's why I'm having to trim them. If you just cut like normal, then they would fit. Okay, and then we'll do this one. Just line them up. You can snip from the front, but it's a little trickier for me. All right, we'll do that, and then we'll put the one piece up at the top. I'm kind of sad about those flowers, but it's okay. Actually, now that I think about it, I think this might have been an idea that I had for the Savvy Scrapbookers, and then I ended up not doing it, but I had cut up a paper playing with an idea. So, oh yeah, see this one, it was cut at an angle, so I've got, this is not quite fitting because I did it, I folded it and cut it. So I'm gonna have to trim this. It's not gonna go to the edge, but I think that will look okay. It doesn't always have to go off the edge. I actually kind of like it better with it not going to clear off the edge. And then we'll just do a little bit right on this side. Oh, I didn't want to cut that one. I wanted to cut. Oh, I'll do it that way. It's behind here. So it's only going to take 3 leaves. I guess I went a little farther than 3. I went into that 4th leaf. Now I'm crooked. So I'll just straighten this out. Okay. A little bit of glue on here. Get this stuck down. Sorry to leave you in silence. I feel like I should talk if I got nothing to say, but it can't be interesting to sit there all alone. Okay, so I like that. Oops. And now we need a little bit more color. So where did I put my embellishments? It's a lot of orange. Oh, I wonder if I could use, they had these weird birds in this one. Like this. It's perfect for this layout. Oh, I'm off the camera. Sorry, guys. I used my, is that the only bird, that one giant bird? I don't really want to use all of these. I could use some flowers. The color's a little bit wrong, but all right. I don't need to use any of these leaves. I thought I was going to use these leaves because I forgot about that piece that's already punched out. I do like these with the shiny on them, the spot UV they call it. Is that the only bird I have? Look at those little flowers. I got two of the same. So this is probably from sorry, not Happy Album, Savvy Scrapbookers. I probably had two packs because we do two. I do one to show and a sample and then one to show. And I kind of like these flowers. That, one of them right here. This makes 4. If I put this one here, maybe I better not put that one there. I don't love this embellishment. This is not my favorite embellishment ever, but I think it works for this page. And hooray that I get to use an embellishment that what on earth other layout will I ever use this bird on? So I want it down here at the bottom. Balancing off that. I think I need it to be up here. It's kind of sitting on this. I don't like to have embellishments just kind of floating in space, but it's kind of lined up with that. And then I'll do these two little flowers. A red one and a white one. Actually, the repo might be better for this. Kind of don't like using repo on these embellishments because they're heavy and they're going on a, not heavy, but they're like cardstock weight and they're going on top of something else that's already on there, but I think it'll be okay. And then I'm gonna pop this guy up with some foam squares, which is like the only thing so far that I've popped up on this layout, but hopefully that will be okay. I'm gonna use a bunch of them because it's got all these little leaves, so. In the middle. All right. So this kind of has a title already because I put this on here, but I really struggle with not putting titles on every layout. I was actually telling somebody that maybe that needs to be my New Year's resolution, is to stop stressing about not having a word title on every layout. Seems like a lot of the things that that Creative Memories is doing right now, we have things like this, and you can use this as a title, and then you don't need to spell out your title with sticker letters or your Cricut. I think, I don't know if I can do it. I think I'm gonna try. So you guys tell me, can I get away with using this as the title, or to have continuity with the rest of the layouts, do I need to do a sticker letter title? I'll let you guys decide. I wish we were live, except for all the parts where I, had to fast forward so you don't have to watch me matting all these pictures or whatever. I don't want that on there. Oh, no, not either of those. All right. I think that's it. I think we're done. I didn't get to use those flowers. I'm a little sad about that. And I didn't get to do the peekaboo pocket, but because I ended up cutting my photo down, I don't think I would have wanted to. Okay, so when I was editing the video to get ready to post this, the more I looked at this layout, the more I felt like it is not finished. And I've kind of, I've slept on it, been trying to figure out kind of what I want to do. And I think I need some kind of a border. I do that a lot. Like, we'll cut this paper down and mount it on something else. I can't cut this paper down because of the way I have the pictures arranged. There's just no extra space. So what I think I'm going to do is make a mock border just like we did right here. If I take this piece of the orange that we cut the circle out of, I'm hoping to use this for something else in the future, which is since I did it in the center. But if I take this and I put it right around here, I just feel like that makes a huge difference. So like I say, I can't cut this down. I mean, I could maybe cut the top and bottom, but it would be very difficult for me to cut this down at this point. So I'm just going to cut some more 1/8 of an inch strips and put them on here. I also think I really need some kind of a title. And I think I need to use the orange sticker letters to kind of tie that in again. We'll see what happens after I get this little border down. So I'm just going to take a new sheet of the orange paper and cut all these 1/8 inch strips like I did for the other borders. And then I'm going to stick these on all the way around. And so I'll do that off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll play with letters. Although I'm looking at this right now, this is more like a 3/8. I think I want this to be a little bit bigger, but that's hard because I'm measuring on here, and to do 3/8 is a little tricky. You just kind of have to measure between this is the cutting line closest to the logo. The 1/8 of an inch is the other cutting line. So I just would have to kind of go just past that cutting line. I might need to just draw something with a Sharpie again. I don't think I can fit a quarter. I mean, I could maybe fit a 1/4 of an inch. Would have to go behind some of this and behind. So I'm going to play around with that with a little bit of some borders. I think I'm going to start with the 1/8 of an inch and just see how it goes. And then, like I say, then we'll come back and we'll do some things with the sticker letters, okay, for a title. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to just come back in real quick here. I've done the border along one side. It adds so much. Don't you think that just makes a huge difference? It just finishes the page. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then, like I say, I'll be back with the rest of it. Okay, so I've got my border down, and I also decided I needed to add some journaling. I originally was going to use just a little piece of white cardstock because I've got some white here and white here. But when I got it on here, it was just too white. And so then I remembered that the Blue had some vellum that would just have this stripe. I used this for my Savvy Scrapbooker to clear back in the beginning of the year. I used this, and I had this extra piece left over. So I just cut it into a little square, and I put some repositionable adhesive on here, but you can see it kind of still shows through. I didn't have any vellum adhesive. And because it's on a dark surface, it's going to show anyway. So I just tried to kind of hide my adhesive. I put the vellum piece on top right here and kind of marked it with a pencil where the adhesive would go. And then I flipped it over and stuck some repositional and tucked it under. And then I just did a couple little dots here and one tiny, tiny dot in this corner. You can't see it, but I can see it. One tiny dot. So I hope that's okay. But I feel like I need a title. And I don't really want to say the Tiki Room because this already says Tiki Room. So I kind of want to do the little song. So one of the things I journaled about, I said, it was something that I said to you as I was creating this layout yesterday, that, it gets a lot of hate from people. It's kind of a love it or hate it, tolerate it or hate it even maybe. And I thought, anytime there is something that I want to tell someone about the things in my photos, that helps me know what I ought to put down as my journaling. So I've written a little bit of journaling, and I think that I do definitely need these orange sticker letters. And what I'd really like to write is, the song, the obnoxious song for this says, "Where the birds sing words and the flowers croon." I don't know if I can fit all that on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this out and just figure out if I have enough letters. And I don't know if it will fit. actually, in this space where the birds sing words. I need that to fit here, and the flowers croon. So back when I was using my silhouette for titles, I could have, of course, done that and made it fit in whatever space I need to. But these are pretty skinny letters, so I just kind of need to go through, and I'm going to use lowercase because I tend to use more uppercase anyway. And I just kind of count W, H, E, R, E, T, H, E, B, I, R, D, S, S, I. Actually, that's not really helping me sing because I've lost track of where I was. I think I'm going to try it just by positioning it here on my ruler to see if that's going to fit. I hate to waste the sticker letters if it's not going to fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I need to fit two letters per inch. It's not going to fit. That letters aren't going to fit. I want to put something, but I just don't know. I guess I could do it here where the birds sing words and the flowers croon. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to position it on here. You know, I guess I'm going to keep you on with me while I do this because, yeah, I don't know what part I can cut out if I decide not to do that. So yeah, feel free to fast forward if you don't want to watch this part. But I mean, it's pretty fast. I need my multi-purpose tool to punch all these little things out. I don't know where it is. Where? Okay, I'm not going to make you watch this. I'm going to position it on the ruler, and then I'll be back to figure out how we're going to put it on the layout, okay? Okay, so it didn't fit on the 12 inches. It did go right off the edge. Luckily, I got two of these. So I am going to put where on this side, and then the birds sing words on that side. And then I think I can fit and the flowers croon. It's not quite as many letters. So I think I can put that underneath here. So we're going to try it. I think I want this to be, I need to be able to fit the letters. So this is right about 2 inches. So if I put this first set of letters down 1 inch from the top, I'm going to have to do it. I have to use my grid. So I've got, I say 1 inch from the top. That's going to include this little 1/8 of an inch border I put down. I'll use this ruler that I'm not, that only has those last couple. I know that these are 3/4 inch letters, and so I think this is going to fit okay. I don't want to leave too much of a gap here because I'm going to have the jeeping edge, so that's already going to be a gap between the words. But I do like to leave space between the words. You don't want to squish them too close together because it makes it hard to see. So where? Yeah, that's going to fit just barely here. I am going to run out of W's, so luckily I just reminded myself how to make a W out of 2 V's because it only has 2 lowercase W's, but it has 2 lowercase V's. So I'm going to make, for the flowers, I'm going to have to make my own. But But I'll go ahead and stick that down. So now you can see kind of how I'm going to do that. I'll go ahead and stick that down, the whole title, and then I'll be back to show you the finished product. Okay, so I've done the second row of letters and the flowers croon, and my plan was to put them up here. So where the birds sing words and the flowers croon, and I think I could fit that. I could position it kind of behind this, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I want to put it down here. And I think if I had known that I was going to put it down here, I would have moved these guys a little bit lower, and I may still do that, move them a little bit down. The problem is once they're stuck, they might pull up the color on this paper. So I might not be able to, but I think I'm going to stick these down here. I think that's going to make the flow of the title better. Plus it's going to give me more of that balance. So I'm going to move that, put these here, try and move those down, and then I think I'll be done. All right. So we'll see. You guys already know what this looks like. I think that's, you know, that's kind of a funny thing about these layouts is you already know what the finished product's going to be before I do, because you saw the little snip at the beginning, which I haven't filmed yet. So yeah, let me stick this down and then we'll be back with the final layout. All right, here we go. I think this is the final layout. I was able to move these down. There was one little spot where it picked up the color, but not enough to make me not be able to do it. So I moved it down to 1.5 inches. And I did measure it. It's looking a little crooked to me, but I did measure it. I'll double check that again. It's too late because I've also traced around it. I just took this blue pen, which is very similar in color to here. And I feel like it just made a little bit of difference. You know, I've talked about that before. It just kind of gave it a little definition from the background. And it does get a little bit lost down here, this where the flowers croon. It's not as bad in person, but it's a lot. This layout's a lot with the orange and, you know, the orange and the blue. The orange is very, very orange. But I think putting the title in orange and putting it on both top and bottom on this side matches with that orange circle. And of course, I love adding the orange border. You can see I didn't go over the top of this floral print right here. I've tucked it behind. But I'm very happy with this one. I think the theme of the layout lends itself to kind of slightly obnoxious because that's kind of how this layout is. So I'm happy with it. I'm glad that I was able to sleep on it, have a little bit of extra time. As you know, I'm recording these ahead because as you're watching this, I am on my way to Disney World, where my daughter Michelle is going to be starting the Disney College program early next week. And so we're going to spend a few days touring the parks with her before she has to go and be a cast member helping to make the magic. So the next couple layouts are going to be pre-recorded, and but I'll still be here every Thursday with you for Theme Park Thursday. So I think 2024 is off to a great start. I'm really excited about what we've got coming up. I'm excited about finishing this whole album throughout the course of the next year with you on Theme Park Thursday. So thanks so much for all your support of my channel, and here's to a great 2024. Thanks a lot and happy scrapbooking.